This is the Erin Marie Podcast, where the pussified mentality gets thrown in the dumpster fire where it belongs, and mediocrity gets skull-f***ed. We're talking total annihilation. This show is about getting off your ass and handling your shit, because the fate of the next generation depends on you becoming mentally unfuckwithable. Let's rock it, you unapologetic Americans. This is the Erin Marie Podcast, and here she is.
Community, what's good? I'm your host, Erin Marie, and this is the show where I teach you how to master your attention with real-world applications so you can build a brain that bends in your favor. And I do that by exposing all the bullshit that you crutch on to remain inside your own struggle. I'm going to shake it out in wide open spaces and help you understand why it exists in the first place, which means I'm about to call you out on your shit in a way that punches you in the throat and wakes you the fuck up. So expect it to hurt, because growth does. Guys, I have an awesome podcast lined up for you today you're going to love. But first, if you listen to this podcast in one of the 119 countries this is available in, and it makes you think differently, or you implement the tactics I share with you, and it helps you turn your life in the direction you want to go, I ask that you share the show. Go tell a friend, tell a colleague, send a DM to all your cousins and neighbors, and definitely share it with anybody who likes to wake up and kick ass every day. You're going to look wicked smart, trust me. Also, don't forget to subscribe and follow the show. Subscriptions are the lifeblood of podcasts. It helps me increase the podcast in the rankings, and guys, when that happens, I can get this message in front of the people who really, really need it. The entire Erin Marie Podcast library is going to help you in business and in life. So hit the subscribe button and share the show, because I am somebody who has actually built a company from the ground up and sustained it through a pandemic. I didn't close up shop. I've had to rebuild my life not once, but motherfucking twice. So what am I saying? You're learning from someone who has been in the trenches, not somebody who watches YouTube videos and regurgitates information. I live and breathe everything that I talk about. I'm living proof that what I say works, and I'm giving it to you for free, an actual roadmap. I want to talk to you today about a topic that I've talked about in the past, but I feel like you guys need to hear this message again and again and again, and maybe another 7 times after that. I don't know. We'll see. Today's truth bomb is simple, so pay attention. Ready? Here it comes. Easy doesn't pay the bills. Now, I'm going to focus this episode on the entrepreneurial side of things, and there's a reason for this focus today, because entrepreneurship is one of the toughest arenas to be inside. This is exactly where the truth plays out. You don't get paid for just showing up. You don't get paid for trying hard, and you sure as hell don't get paid for anything easy. You eat what you kill, or you fucking starve. And if you're an employee working in somebody else's company, I'm going to tell you that this ideology, it applies to you as well. So you may have a paycheck that lands every 2 weeks like clockwork, but the same principles still apply, because the second that you start to get comfortable, the second you start believing you can coast, you are already being replaced. Somebody hungrier is moving up behind you. Easy won't pay your bills either. It'll just keep you average, forgettable, and irrelevant. So first, let me level the playing field and make sure that our definitions line up. Let's define what I mean when I say entrepreneur. I'm not talking about the Etsy shop people who touch their store once a week, and I'm not talking about hobby businesses that you fall back on when you're bored with your day job. I mean those of you who are full-time entrepreneurs, meaning this isn't your side hustle. There's no plan B. I mean those of you who wake up in the morning and you don't know where your next meal is coming from, because if you don't sign clients, you don't fucking eat. That's my life, by the way. That's how I live. And when I say young entrepreneurs, I am not referring to chronological age. I'm not talking to like 19-year-olds when I say young entrepreneurs. I'm talking about time in the trenches. Specifically, if you've been in business for less than 5 years, you are a young entrepreneur. You're still carving your own roadmap. You haven't been in the trenches long enough, all right? And it's those young entrepreneurs who I really want to focus on today. Because here's what I see repeatedly. You guys are busy chasing overnight success. You're thinking you're the next front page cover story on the latest magazine. You're watching the highlight reels of billion-dollar exits thinking, oh my God, that's going to be me in 3 months. You want the private Learjet without understanding the arena that you're playing in. You're focused on the money, and that's why you're broke. You forget that as an entrepreneur, money is not the point, it's the byproduct. It's the outcome. The entire point of entrepreneurship is what, guys? What is it? It is solving real problems, creating real value, and building something the market actually benefits from, not what you wish the market needed. But see, your brain is actively working against you, okay? Neurobiology 101. You're wired to conserve energy instead of playing the long game. That's why so many of you chase the quick win instead of learning the fundamentals of business. And it's probably because when you guys doom scroll on social media, you see these larger-than-life people sitting all cozy-like from the leather seats on their Learjet. Those are also the same people who run flashy ads on the internet promising millions in 8 weeks or less. And those ads aren't aimed at your logic neural circuits. They're aimed at your survival circuitry. It's neurochemistry ad targeting. You're literally being hacked by your own neurobiology unless you know different. Your brain is still wired like a caveman. See, reward, grab, reward. And every time you take the bait and you double tap that ad, and you go down the rabbit hole, you're training your brain to need the shortcut. You're wiring your brain for the breadcrumbs instead of building the muscle to hunt for the whole fucking beast. All right, so let me break that down for you, okay, in like Erin Marie terms. I'm from St. Louis, so baseball runs in the blood, guys, yeah. So you young entrepreneurs, okay, you all want to pitch the no-hitter, the rare, perfect game. You know how rare a no-hitter is, okay? And yes, no-hitters do exist. They make headlines, sure. But my point is, you don't build an entire baseball career on no-hitters. You build it on showing up pitch after pitch, game after game, studying the dynamics of the field, practicing your stance on the mound, grinding through the marathon season, right? You get the idea. But you're obsessing on unicorn outcomes instead of mastering the fundamentals, okay? Your curveball, your fastball, your pop fly, your stance. You're fantasizing about creating the billion-dollar company with little effort and zero understanding about the market you're even in, while simultaneously ignoring the discipline it takes to run one single inning. And that's the poison most young entrepreneurs keep drinking. That's what all these Care Bear motherfucker gurus online are selling you. The 8-week get-rich programs, or the secrets to real estate, the secret to the stock market, the secret to weight loss, crypto, the 12-week fast track to greatness. They're going to teach you the secret to intergalactic animal species romances if you click here. Guys, wake the fuck up. You don't need a secret. You need to learn a weaponized skill set that's sharp as fuck. One you can deploy in real time, in front of a client, in a boardroom, in the middle of chaos, under fire, and have it carve right through the market problem and deliver a grand slam that creates value to help people solve their problems. That's what keeps you alive in the market. Not a secret, not a crash course, not a weekend retreat. It's a skill set that solves problems. That's it. That's the whole fucking game. And once you've got that figured out, then you fucking commit. Not for 8 weeks, not for 12 weeks, not for a quarter, not for a fiscal year. You commit for a decade, for 2 decades. Hell, 3 decades if that's what it takes, okay? You don't try out entrepreneurship. You don't dip your toe to see if you like the temperature. This isn't like fucking hot yoga class. This is war. And war demands endurance. And this right here, this is exactly where entrepreneurs fuck up. They want quick, they want easy, they want the payout before they've bled in the arena. And I'm here to tell you, easy doesn't pay the bills. And this is why most young entrepreneurs never last, because your neurobiology is wired for short sprints, right? Not marathons. Your brain is designed to light up when you chase something new and quick and shiny, but it punishes you the moment you have to pull on your disciplined big boy pants day after day after day. That's why most young entrepreneurs quit before the 2-year mark. Hell, they quit before the 90-day mark, quite frankly. They think that they're going to experience massive success in 2 years or less. And when that doesn't happen, they end up pivoting too early and they go chase something else for 2 years after that. When that doesn't work out, they sever ties and they dip their toe into another, big idea for another 2 years, when in reality, it's their brain that's screaming for novelty and escape. They don't stick it out. And what does that leave you? More wasted years. And then by the time they're 45 years old or 55 years old or 75 years old, doesn't matter. They're out here claiming that they weren't cut out for entrepreneurship, when the truth is they weren't cut out for strategic patience. They weren't cut out for the endurance game. And endurance is the separator. Always has been, always will be. Because the highlight reel that you see on the cover of Entrepreneur magazine, right? Or in your social media feed. That's not year 1. That's not year 2. That's year 12, guys. That's thousands and thousands of nights where the weight of the world was crushing down on their chest. It's the very late nights and super early mornings for 8 years straight. And listen, a bunch of you listening right now, I know that you don't sign the front of the check like the entrepreneur, right? You sign the back of the check, meaning you work for somebody else. Totally fine. Most people who sign the back of the check, what do? They show up for work, they clock in, they coast just under the radar enough not to get fired, and then you sit there for the next 4 years waiting for somebody to tap you on the shoulder, like somebody's going to come around and promote you for time served, because that's what you think you deserve. I am telling you, that is Care Bear motherfucker mentality. You are not entitled to a promotion for warming the office chair for 4 years. You don't get shit for being mediocre. You don't get shit for waking up in the morning, quite frankly. You don't get shit for having good intentions. You don't get shit for coming into 17th place, by the way. And you're not going to get shit for generating ideas in your brain. You don't deserve shit for being subpar. You don't even deserve recognition. I could care less if you agree with the statement or not. If you want to level up in a corporate career, you have to learn the skill sets just like entrepreneurs do for your future position or the future promotion that you want. And what does that mean? You need to be busy being productive, studying your industry. You need to go research trends in your industry. You read the latest articles in your industry. You learn, you practice, you invest in your brain. And none of that has anything to do with you clocking out and going home every night to numb out on Netflix with your hand in a bag of fucking Doritos and trauma dumping your shit on social media, banging your victim drum about how your boss is a big fat dick and how you got passed up for the promotion. You got passed up because you didn't spend any time becoming resourceful or effective or highly productive or spend any time whatsoever on becoming a better human than the day before, which means you are irrelevant. And if you're irrelevant, that means you're replaceable. That's why easy never pays the bills, because easy never lasts. Endurance is the separator. Endurance is not pretty. It's not Instagrammable, if that's even a word. It's not the highlight reel. It's bleeding in the arena when nobody's watching. It's staying in the fight when your hands are broken, your legs are shot, and the scoreboard says you're losing. That's the reality of life. That's the reality of success. That's the reality of entrepreneurship. And most of you quit when your blood hits the surface for the very first time. You guys think bleeding in the arena means you're failing. No, guys. Getting punched in the teeth means that you're in the fucking game. You're taking hits. That's good. You want proof? Look at anybody who's ever built anything worth a damn. Their blood-filled arena is littered with ideas that tanked, missed opportunities, broken contracts, backstabbing and betrayal, from family, best friends, and colleagues, and yet they stayed. They got back up. They endured. That's why they land the cover of Entrepreneur magazine, because when everybody else tapped out, they kept swinging their fists in the dark. Your brain is wired to hate this. It screams at you to take the shortcut, pivot early, walk away when shit gets heavy. Your brain is its own self-saboteur. It's wired to keep you alive, not make you exceptional. It begs you to stop the suffering. That's the survival wiring talking. That's what kept our ancestors alive when survival meant hoarding calories and conserving energy. That ancient wiring is why you cling to comfort and why you fantasize about the overnight win. That shit worked when survival meant hiding in a cave when the saber-toothed tigers were circling. But in entrepreneurship and in modern life, that exact wiring is the anchor that drags you to the bottom and keeps you there. The market doesn't care if you're tired or anxious or trying your best. The market doesn't reward a payout to the one who quits first. It rewards the one who can drag themselves back to their feet after being knocked down 10,000 times and still swing on the 10,000th and first. The one who's still standing after the longest fight. And I know this because I lived it. When I built my human performance firm, when I built Ambitious AF from scratch, there were days when everybody around me said, maybe you should just quit and get a real job, Erin Marie. Hey, maybe this isn't for you. Erin Marie, I really think that you're being selfish about this. You need to think about the kids. Some people were like, you're insane if you keep going. How are the kids going to eat? How are you going to pay rent? Guys, there were nights when I sat on the edge of my bed, head hung in my hands, tears streaming down my face, questioning my entire existence, all right? Fuck, that shit still happens, actually. But here's what everybody who doubted me didn't get. Every time I chose the harder road, every time I leaned into discomfort instead of chasing the quick win, I was rewiring my brain. I was building the mental endurance to stay in the fight when most people would have already tapped out. And that's why I can tell you with absolute conviction, you must outthink your own neurobiology. You've got to force your brain to recalibrate. And what does that mean? You have to teach your brain to normalize chaos, to normalize pressure, to normalize getting punched in the teeth. Chaos isn't a threat. That's your baseline. Pressure is not a reason to quit. It's the entry fee to greatness. Your suffering that you're feeling right now, it's not punishment. It's proof that you're in the fight. You either learn to endure it with intention or it's going to own you. Look at anybody who's made it. Elite professional athletes, war fighters, medtech startup CEOs, the single mother clawing her way out of sexual trauma and poverty to build something sustainable. Every one of them faced the same choice that you have right now. Retreat into irrelevance or rewire your brain to crave that hard shit. This is why I keep hammering down on this concept, guys. Easy doesn't pay the bills. Easy is a trick. Easy conditions your brain to fold when the weight doubles. But hard, doing the hard shit, rewires you. Hard builds the mental armor. Hard ingrains the muscle memory so that when everybody else panics, you're the one who stays calm. You're the one who stays clear. You're the one who executes. Doing the hard shit builds endurance. Doing the hard shit is the adaptation. Doing the hard shit is the fucking point. And I'm going to say it again. When I was building this business, it was trench warfare every single day. No cavalry coming, guns blazing to pull me out. No safety net, no plan B. Just me stacking bricks. Bleeding time, money, energy, and faith. Most days, I didn't even know if the thing was going to hold, but I kept fucking building because the only way out was forward. Remember, forward is not a direction, it's a discipline. And here's the part that most of you guys don't get. This isn't just my story of building a business. This isn't just modern entrepreneurship. This is fucking timeless. If we go back 2,000 years, right? Let's say Julius Caesar, one of my favorites. He had his back against a wall, outnumbered 5-1 at Alesia. 80,000 men inside the city, 250,000 more marching in from the outside to crush him. Anyone else would have tucked dick and run. Not Caesar. He dug in, literally. He built 2 walls, right? Double fortification. 1 wall facing in, 1 wall facing out. 25 miles of dirt, stone, trenches, spikes, hidden pits, and sweat. His men starved. They froze. They bled. They fought on 2 fronts, day and night. No shortcuts, no retreat. Now, I want you to think about this, right? His men were exhausted, starving, surrounded, taking fire from all directions, and Caesar's orders were simple. Hold the line. And when the final assault came, when waves of Gauls crashed both walls at once, Caesar and his men didn't flinch. They endured, and they broke an army 5 times their size. And here's the truth that nobody wants to hear. Caesar didn't win in a day. He didn't conquer Gaul in a weekend workshop. He didn't march in, swing his sword twice, and shout, Vini, Vidi, Vici. That campaign lasted 8 fucking years. 8 years of blood, winter, famine, uprisings, betrayal, even his own men threatening mutiny. Imagine that. Your soldiers are starving. The enemy is pressing in from both directions, mutiny being plotted under your nose, and you're the motherfucker in charge saying, keep building, keep digging, don't stop. That's mental endurance. That's rewiring your brain to normalize chaos. That's refusing to fold when every cell in your body is screaming for comfort. That's the end game. That's what separates the names written in history from everybody else who's irrelevant. And most of you listening, you would have fucking quit on day 3. You would have called that conquest too hard, right? You'd have written some trauma dump social media post about how the odds weren't fair. You young entrepreneurs, you're quitting after 2 years. You pivot when shit gets uncomfortable. You fold because your first big idea didn't make you rich. You don't even make it through 1/10 of the suffering required to taste victory. So stop fantasizing about the overnight billion-dollar success and start building your 2 walls. Start training your brain to suffer with intention. And remember, this doesn't just apply to entrepreneurs, guys. This isn't just about business owners building empires from scratch. This is also about the employee. This is about you, especially the one sitting at an office desk or out in the sales field right now who's coasting, who's flying just under the radar so you don't get in trouble or fired. You think you deserve more money. You think you deserve a promotion. You think your boss doesn't recognize your true value. But let's call a spade a spade. You haven't earned shit. You haven't suffered for it. You haven't built the skill set, the endurance, or the reputation that forces people to look at you and say, there's no way in hell we can afford to lose them. That's the same survival wiring I was just talking about. Your brain is begging for comfort. So you clock in, you do the bare minimum, you clock out, and then you tell yourself it's work-life balance. No, it's you being a lazy Care Bear motherfucker. And then you wonder why nobody's tapping you on the shoulder with an opportunity. The market pays for value, not sometimes, always. Entrepreneurs get paid for solving problems. Employees get promoted for solving problems. If you aren't solving problems, you aren't valuable. And if you're not valuable, not only are you not getting paid, you're irrelevant. And guess what? The person who's going to eat your lunch tomorrow, they're studying industry trends. They're building new skills. They're anticipating problems and sharpening themselves to be the solution. They are outlasting you. They are outworking you. Just like Caesar's army held the line against impossible odds, you have to hold the line against your own comfort. So whether you're a young entrepreneur chasing clients or an employee gunning for the next rung on the ladder, the principle doesn't change. Easy doesn't pay the bills. Success will not happen overnight for you. And if you're the person who thinks that it will, you're never going to make it in business or in life, period. And this goes for every single one of you listening right now. None of you are above this concept, including me, regardless of the previous success you've already experienced. This goes for both the person who owns the company as well as, most importantly, The dude who ducks over in the corner doing the least amount of work possible, banging your victim drum at the water cooler, bitching and complaining about how upper management has it out for you and how your boss doesn't know shit, and if only you were in charge, the company would totally take off in the right direction, none of which is likely even true. The truth is simple. If you actually solve problems, if you make people's lives better, if you provide value, you get rewarded. It doesn't matter if you're running your own business, climbing the corporate ladder, or trying to dominate your craft. Value wins. And if you want to be the person everybody comes to, the one who sets the standard in your field, then you have to outwork, outlast, and outsmart everybody else. This is years of work, not months. This is decades. Human capital is the biggest driver of a company's success. Here's more truth for you. Most people think they're hustling because they post, they talk, or they show up for a few weeks. Guys, that's nothing. Real impact takes consistency in the right direction for a decade minimum. Relentless focus, doing the work nobody else is willing to do. That's how you build human capital, the real engine behind any successful business or team. And let me be clear, if you're running your mouth, posting advice, or offering motivation without actually giving people something to use, something that solves a real problem, then shut the fuck up. People don't care about opinions. They care about results. They care about solutions for their life. So either add value or get out of the fucking way. If I stepped into your operation tomorrow, in less than 90 days, I'd be the CEO of your company. I'd take over. I'd be running that bitch like a freight train, taking no prisoners, leaving no weak spots, and making sure every obstacle becomes fuel. That's the level of relentless execution I expect from anybody serious about winning. So let me remind you, if you ever step into my arena, my market, my clients, my space, my rules, as a human performance coach, I will fucking crush you. So you better be ready to be outworked, outsmarted, and outlasted. And I don't play nice, by the way. I'm going to hit you harder than anyone you've ever faced before. I'm going to put my boot on your fucking neck, press down as hard as I can, and make you beg me to stop. And I won't stop. I will show you no mercy. And yes, I will absolutely enjoy every second of it. And here's what most of you don't get. You think you're grinding because you're showing up for a few weeks or posting a couple motivational updates now and again. That's not grinding. That's practice for failure. Real results come from years of consistency, endurance, and straight up mental warfare with yourself. So stop whining about short-term setbacks or telling me that you've worked your ass off for 4 months without recognition. 4 months? 4 months? Oh my God, that is Care Bear motherfucker talk. 4 months is it's like a warm-up. I've spent longer than that stretching before a workout. Real success is built in the trenches where most people quit before the fight even begins. Life rewards the people who actually create value, not the people who talk about it, not the ones who chase the shortcut, not the ones who doom scroll and hope for the magic formula. The people who win do the work behind closed doors that nobody sees or claps for. And most of you don't have it in you to do even that. It takes a shit ton of time. It takes persistence. It takes determination. It takes real commitment to get better every single day. Not just better than the next person, but more valuable than anybody else in the room. The very best motherfucker in your space. The person who sets the standard everybody else chases. That is how you win. And if you're not willing to put in the work, then don't even start. Stay mediocre, stay irrelevant, stay wherever the hell it is that you are, just like everybody else doing the backstroke in the cesspool they call life. You're not going to be any different, and your life is sure to fucking suck, and you're going to live with a shit ton of regret. Oh, but Erin Marie, oh my God, you're so mean. No, I'm not. This is the truth. You want some more truth? Most people are miserable. They hate their lives. They hate their jobs. They hate their house. They hate their car. They hate the person they're married to. They hate themselves. And every morning they slap on a fake-ass smile, pretending and convincing themselves that everything's fine. It's not fine, dude. It is very, very, very fucking bad for you because you keep looking for the overnight magical shortcut formula that doesn't exist. That's why life sucks for you. Entrepreneurship is not about overnight magical shortcut formulas. It's about creating value, solving problems, building something meaningful, making people stronger and smarter. And that takes time. It takes patience, endurance, and neural pathways that you have to ingrain so that quitting isn't even an option in your brain. If you want to make more money, if you want to make a bigger impact, if you want to stand out as the person who actually matters in your field, you've got to stop looking for the easy way and start becoming the best motherfucker on the planet in whatever it is that you're trying to do, and learn how to endure the hard shit in life that you don't want to do when you don't feel like doing it. So ask yourself these questions. Are you adding value? Are you solving problems? Are you building your skill set, your knowledge, and your influence so that you actually matter? And if the answer isn't yes, then sit down, shut the fuck up, get back to work, and start creating something that actually earns respect and results. If you guys leave this episode thinking you can shortcut your way to success with a lifetime payout, then you missed the entire point. There is no cheat code. There's no fast pass. There's no fairy dust. Your business isn't going to pay you for giving a half-ass effort. There is no shortcut, no overnight hacks. There's no luck involved. Easy doesn't pay the bills. Easy never builds legacies. Easy never makes great leaders. Hard work does. Value does. Consistency in the right direction does. Every hour, every day, every decision. That's the only way to build something real, something that lasts, something that makes people notice, respect, and pay attention to you. So go solve problems. Go provide value. Go endure the hard shit. That's it, guys. That's the lesson. That's the entire fucking playbook. And if you can't stomach it, then get the fuck out of the arena, because people like me will put a boot on your neck, shove our results down your fucking throat, eat your lunch, cash your paycheck, and make you watch us win. Because in this arena, second place is just the first place loser, and people like us don't fucking lose.
This has been the Erin Marie Podcast. So many people walking around out there are professional victims and complainers, and we ain't having it. If you agree and you've gotten something from the show, make sure to like, rate, and review. Remember, stay off your ass, no excuses, and never settle for mediocrity. Catch you next time on the Erin Marie Podcast.